Wow, major break of a trend line in Bitcoin. Major break. Are we worried about this? Look at this. This is the trend line that's carried Bitcoin up all the way from 74K bottom on April 7th. Is this going to be a major problem? Now, today we're going to talk about what's going to outperform Bitcoin. Is it going to be Ethereum, or is it going to be some of the smaller altcoins? And what's going to happen to Bitcoin here? So basically, like, we can see that as soon as Bitcoin, now we're at a turning point here. As soon as Bitcoin broke 92K, I said it's headed for 73K, right? That's my target. Got to 74K. Okay, missed it by 1K. Then on this bounce up, right? I thought we might get a pullback to 92K. We didn't, only to 93K, because the futures funding has stayed very much green or black all this time. We didn't go very red, which means people still don't believe this bounce yet. People are still shorting, mostly. When people are shorting, so then Bitcoin, I said, it's not gonna have much of a pullback. It keeps on going up. But then I said, when we get up to 112K, 113K area, we're gonna have some sort of pullback. If this is the part that people are getting, like, maybe the 10% of the people watching are getting a little bit confused, and they say, Pablo, on the one hand you say there's going to be a blow off top, on the other hand you say that Bitcoin can top at 112, 113K. I've said this like 100 times already. I am expecting a blow off top. Doesn't mean 100% it's going to happen, but my trading plans, my investing plans is based on the idea that we're going to get a blow off top. We're going to get a blow off top above 112K. If Bitcoin doesn't get above 120K, then I wouldn't even call that a blow off top. The thing about 112, 113K area is, what I said about this was, watch out, because this area is where there would be a small pullback. Some people are afraid this could turn into a big double top, like what happened with the bull run in 2021. That was double top of 64K and then 69K, double top. So here, people are thinking we could have 109K and 112, 113K double top, and bear market starts. I'll say it again. I think that scenario of a bear market starting at 112, 113K is least likely. Least likely meaning like 10% chance or less. You can never say anything's 100%. So my trading plans are not based on that. My trading plans are based on thinking we have a small pullback, less than 10%. Probably won't go below 100K, I kept on saying. Small pullback at 112, 113K, and then we go blow off top with stocks and crypto. Right. But why has Bitcoin stopped at this 112, 13K area? If it doesn't break this 100K area, and yet it's breaking this rising trend line support already right now, then what's going to happen next? Well, before we answer that question, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo He-Man use? Well, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means even the exchange can't see who you are. That means, of course, Americans can use it. So this is the Pablo He-Man link with Bitunix. Just by depositing and win up to $200 trade and win up to $35,000, right? But for limited time only. Offer ends on June 4th. Trade and win a Tesla Model 3, Rolex watch, Apple Vision Pro, Sony, all these great and wonderful prizes. So now, if you're watching on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. But if you're watching on, say, any other platform such as this one, then basically just click and go to my profile page. And here's my link tree. It's called Stanlink. And it should be the first thing that comes up in the Stanlink. Okay, let's get back to the markets. First thing, Bitunix deal, because this is a great deal. Keep in mind, folks, only on the Pablo He-Man link. All right, so I want to show you guys about Ethereum and some larger altcoins today to see which coins actually could outperform Bitcoin. So we have a break of this channel here, of this rising trend line here. Sometimes when these trend lines break, it doesn't mean it's going to do this, like a pullback to 80K, 90K. So far, I don't see a big reason for that. I kept on saying it's going to be a small pullback. I don't think it gets below 101K or 100K to be safe. There's a good chance we only get something like this, a dip to 104, and then up we go, blow off top. Why has Bitcoin stalled out at this 112K, 113K area? I said literally in my video yesterday, we could go down and then pop back up again to something 112, 113K, make everyone go long. So then the funding rate goes green, and then we go down. And then we pull back and go down. So I'm thinking this is a sideways crab action for a couple of weeks, and then up we go. Other than the fact that it's a good place to fool the retail traders, because this is so close to the previous top, people are thinking of a double top. The other reason is because this is also above the previous all-time high. If we look at SP 500, SP 500 has not gone above the previous all-time high yet, because it's getting close, like within 5 or 6%, 8% of the previous all-time high. So that means Bitcoin is waiting for SP 500 to catch up. I've explained this plenty of times already. What's happening in the markets is basically that Bitcoin front runs because it trades 24/7. It's a smaller asset, much smaller than the U.S. stock market, so it can move faster, right? So basically, it front run the breakdown on in the stock market, and then they both bottomed on the same day on April 7th and started bouncing. And then once again, Bitcoin front run the run up to new all-time high, hitting 112K. And now SP 500 is also catching up to new all-time high, but hasn't broken new all-time high yet. So Bitcoin is not sure about keep on running just by itself until SP 500 confirms with a break of new all-time high as well. So what I was saying is, I've been saying that my base case is that I think the biggest probability is Bitcoin and stocks break into new all-time high. SP 500 is somewhere above 600, right? Like maybe 10, 20% above 600. But for Bitcoin, it could be something like 130, 140, 150. I've done videos where I've shown you guys what happens if we get one wave up above 109K. What happens if we get a second wave, two waves up above 109K? So right now they're playing these games. Let's have a look at Ethereum and some of the smaller coins to see what is happening in that area. So this chart is down the bottom is Ethereum. Down the bottom is Ethereum, and the chart on top is others divided by Ethereum. So this is ETH, and this is called. Let me just show you guys so you can see it better. Is called others. Others divided by Ethereum. Others is essentially the total market cap of altcoins, excluding the top 10. So not counting altcoin. So all altcoins, but not counting Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, USDT, USDC, Binance, Doge, those ones. So basically, then this would be a comparison of small altcoins versus ETH. And we've seen something very significant here lately. We know that Ethereum bottomed on April 7th, like everything else, right here. And then a couple of days later, others topped against Ethereum. What does that mean? That means Ethereum is outperforming all the smaller coins. Ethereum is showing more relative strength. Others is going down. Ethereum is going up, relatively speaking. So that's why in your portfolio, you might have seen a lot of the small coins weren't going up a lot, and yet Ethereum was going up. So we can see that all along here, the other for the last year or so, the other smaller altcoins were gaining, and ETH was losing in relative strength, right? And now we've had a massive drop in others versus ETH. So this would have been the place to switch into ETH. I mean, I bought ETH all the way on the way down to like 1500K. I didn't catch the exact bottom, but I did dollar cost average on the way down. So now this ETH bounce is benefiting folks who hold ETH, who hold ETH ecosystem coins like ENS, like Sushi Swap, those coins. So let's have a look at another instance. What happened in the previous bull run when this happened? That was 2021. So in 2021, what did we also get? In 2021, this was the ETH top around 4,000. It was 4,000. What was it here? 4,200, and then the eventual top of 4,800. What happened was when others topped against ETH and had this massive drop once again, we saw ETH have this big run up, right? And then ETH kept on outperforming others, and then we had this second big leg up, and this was the eventual top for ETH and all altcoins. So this is in some ways a welcoming sign to see. First, we see a run up of others, the smaller coins, the mid caps, against ETH, and then we see the mid caps drop against ETH relative strength, and ETH does well. And this is the last few months of the bull run, and altcoin season comes. And in a way, that makes intuitive sense, because we've always said, look, what happens in crypto is first Bitcoin runs, and then people rotate money out of Bitcoin into something like Ethereum. Then Ethereum runs, then people rotate money out of Ethereum, and they go, what else is next? What is the next Ethereum? And that's when the other altcoins, the larger altcoins like Solana and Binance, BNB, Doge, those coins run, and then the smaller altcoins run. So that's usually how a traditional classic altcoin season would happen, and I think we're about to get that again. Right now, ETH running is a very good thing, and for ETH, the target has always been, for me, the next wave up around 3,100, and I've explained a number of times why. It's interesting. Let's just quickly have a look at the ETH chart, because right now Bitcoin's pulling back, but ETH is showing a lot of relative strength. I've been telling my Discord that this 2760 area is top of this bull flag, and you can see how it's respecting the top of that bull flag very, very accurately. Without Bitcoin going up to, like we can see right now, Bitcoin's pulling back to around this 107 area, down like 4.5%. ETH yet is trying to make a new high. Because Bitcoin's down, ETH is getting trapped back into this bull flag. I think, eventually ETH should outperform and punch straight through. Because ETH is showing more relative strength against Bitcoin right now. So told folks this was a U bottom. We come up, bull flag of sorts, and then another leg up, right? Another leg up. So, yeah, folks with some ETH who are sitting in the ETH ecosystem should be doing all right. So let's have a look at some coins which are some of the larger altcoins, which money can rotate into once they get out of ETH. So for example, this one is Matic or Polygon. The symbol now is POL, P-O-L. They keep on changing it. And this is the net unrealized profit or loss. Well, right now, folks holding Polygon, Matic, are in loss. So net, when it goes red, we can see people are in net unrealized loss. That means they're holding loss and they're not realizing, not selling it yet, just holding on a paper loss. And when it crosses this -1 area, right, then Matic reaches an extreme bearish territory. The black is the price of Matic, for example. It goes down, and that's almost exactly marks the bottom. And then boom, in Feb 2020, and then boom, massive run. It went from like 1 cent to $2. That was a 200x run 1 year later. And then if we look at this is another instance in June 2022 when markets bottomed. This red line here again goes below 1, the net unrealized loss, and again it went from 25 cents ish up to over $1, 4x run. And now Pol or Matic has made a new low. Say this was a double bottom here, and now recently on April 7th made a new low. And again, we've seen this this red line cross over below 1. I mean, did cross over here as well. We got this bounce here a few weeks later. Here, April 7th marks a massive bottom for Polygon Matic, and this has gone to like 15, 17 cents. So I think a bounce to at least 50. Ideally, something like this, something like 80 cents is quite possible. So that would be like a 5x move up here. It's quite possible because this has been an extreme sell. Okay, thank you folks for your time. I'll catch you guys next episode.